DWI, live from the BXNY.
Greetings, New York. We'd like to welcome you to Saintjohnchurch presents Catch the Vision. I am your host, Al Chambliss, along with Pastor Molly. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, no complaints.
Okay, we have our other co-hosts, our panel, Mr. Maurice.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
And we have the lovely Miss Adina. How you doing?
Hi, everybody.
We'd like to welcome you to another rendition of Catch the Vision. We're here to speak to the total man from a spiritual perspective. You know, we like to open up dialogue today on current events that's going on. And we all know this past week we had some things that's going on that has just shaken everybody to their foundation and core. You know, we had the situation of the two gentlemen that got shot. That was what a lot of people feel unnecessarily, you know, and then we had the situation where police officers got shot and killed. You know, we want to talk about that today and get some of everybody's perspective on how to address these situations. So how do you feel about what's going on?
It would be funny if you called me first. Nothing happens on planet Earth unless God preordained it. Mm-hmm. Everything that's happening has been predetermined, has been predestined, has been forewarned that it will occur. It's just coming to our surprise that it is happening because most people are not paying attention to the signs. Mm-hmm. Many people have not read the novel that will articulate what's actually happening and how it's going to progressively get worse. We are in a serious state, not America, but the world. We are in a serious state. Our ozone layer is not getting any better. The climate is not getting any better. Finances is not getting any better. Our health is rapidly decreasing, is declining. Nothing is getting any better. So we have to recognize that when things that are not getting better, meaning that it has an end. So because we're on a decline, eventually at some point, whether it be tomorrow, 10 years from now, or next month, it's going to hit the bottom. Yes. Okay, so this is the state that we're in. You know, we are in trouble. Right. The world is in trouble, and so I see it just as that. Yes, it is a tragic event. It's an event that causes everyone to stop, look, and listen. But just like 9/11, it caused everyone to stop, look, and listen for a moment, and then we resume what we were doing. Right. So you have to understand that this is nothing new under the sun. It was occurring back in slavery days. I remember back in the 70s when we were children, and I think I was in junior high school when Roots first came out, and that was something that blew our minds, and the teachers on red alert when we came into school the next day because they had to be careful how they addressed us. Yeah. But guess what? It continued on later on. Now Roots is something that many people don't watch. Right. So I have a lot of mixed thoughts, but I have a focused thought on what's happening.
Okay, sir.
I have to agree with Pastor. You know, this is one of those topics where if I was asked on my job, after my response, they would say, everything's not the Bible. Why do you always bring the Bible into it? But it is the Bible. Like, life is contained in the Bible. And when you take a biblical perspective on life, it tends to buffer those things that would normally affect you to your core. Mm-hmm. And so with what's going on right now, I was talking to somebody earlier, and, you know, they were telling me how it, you know, this is wrong and that's wrong and what, you know, but my response was, were they saved? Mm-hmm. Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be getting to people before they die so that they have an assurance of where they're going. It's not really, my perspective, is not that important how you go, but where you go after you go. And so that would be my opinion and my perspective on what's going on is, are we prepared to die? Because God said everybody has to die. Mm-hmm. It is appointed once for man to die. So it's not something that should surprise us that we die, but where are we going after we die?
Mm-hmm. Dana, your view?
Well, my view, I mean, we talk about it at work.
This is a woman who works for the NYPD.
Yeah, and it's horrible, the things that are happening, but I'm seeing it from both ends. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing it because I live in the community. I see it because I see my because I have a son, And then I also work for the department, so I see that part too. Everybody is scared, and everybody's looking for a better day, a brighter day, you know. And they're saying these things should never happen, but these things have been going on for a long time. And yeah, we are tired of hearing about it, but you know what? Where's your relationship? And I always felt like my relationship with God was so much more important, because when I have a relationship with the Lord, He makes things better. He makes things better in a bad situation.
Yes.
You know, but you have to be able to see that. You have to be able to see things for, see that there's okay, take it for somebody being in prison. Your mind should never be in prison.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So your mind should never be in prison. So when your soul feels free, you could be free in a closed off or a terrible environment.
Amen.
So that's how I see
Al, for that person that's in the third world country that hasn't heard what had taken place, why don't you reiterate?
Well, we had one situation where a young man and his wife or girlfriend, I'm not sure which one it was, that had their young child in the back seat of the car, and the police officer supposedly pulled them over because a broken tail light. And as the officer approached, started talking to, for whatever reason, I don't understand. If you drive in a car,
Just give us the facts.
okay, he ended up speaking to the passenger. Okay, and from my understanding and what I read, the young man did say that he had the license to carry and he had his gun. And the officer said, well, let me see your license for the gun. And as he reached for his license, the officer shot him. Okay, that was the one incident. The other incident was the young man selling CDs in front of a store that he had permission from the owner to be out there to sell these CDs. And I really didn't get into the details of that, but again, it was just a situation. The man was down, according to the pictures and a little bit that I did see, the man was down and officer had one hand, a knee on the other hand, but the officer said he was reaching for a gun. Really? Are you serious? You know, and nobody, I understand, everybody, all cops are not bad, okay? Just like all people of color are not criminals, okay? But no one from of authority came out to disprove these officers, you know, or say that they was wrong. And it's been going on too long, you know, and that's what's getting everybody to the point that we had enough.
Well, we've had different government entities address the situation. President Obama, he had an address towards the situation. I think him and former President Bush was in Dallas a couple of days ago, so they addressed the situation. And so we're going to just pull it apart here from another perspective. We've been hearing so many words from the governments and from society, but is there a word from the Lord regarding it? And so we're going to title today State of Emergency. Okay, we are not just America, the people on this planet. We're in a state of emergency, and so in order to know that we are, or that the state that we're in, we got to know the conditions in which we're in. And I think it's not going to be too hard to pick it apart because we see it all the time. What's happening, black on black, and degradation with poverty. There's so many different issues and areas in which we are declining and declining rapidly. And as I mentioned earlier, that with any decline, eventually you're going to hit a bottom. So we're coming close to the bottom right now. So it's a state of an emergency that we're in, and I want us to talk about the state and the standing of the believers. Okay, the state and the standing of the believers. We're in a state of emergency, and I ask that you don't go nowhere. Stay tuned. We're going to take a break. Don't go nowhere. Don't turn that down. This is DSN Network, Catch the Vision. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's your favorite Aussie, Melly Mel. You're listening to DSN Demetrix Studios, the #1 network in America.
Better come on into the ark. People thought he was crazy. They wouldn't listen to him.
getting ready to tell the story.